Hello, and welcome to the Gamer ASMR podcast, the world's number one
A gamer
video game
ASMR podcast.
Today, on the video game ASMR podcast, we have Cruz, who will be presenting multiple hours worth of mechanical keyboard clicks and mouse clicks. Say hello, Cruz.
It's only clicks.
Additionally, we'll have Cameron, who will be consuming various forms of gamer fuel directly into the microphone.
And emphasis on the
Say hello, Cameron.
Almost caught smoking Jewel in bathroom high school ASMR.
And lastly, we have a special guest.
Yeah, what's his
brought
name?
with him. What?
We have Alexander the Great.
I've only known Jack for 5 years and he forgot my fucking name.
What?
Thank God
Alright.
it's Friday, but I'm not gonna forgive you for that.
Yeah. So, you're presenting 3 hours of silenced Call of Duty gunshots, right? For this
No,
ASMR
I'm
section.
actually. I'll actually be presenting manually unclogging the toilet ASMR.
Oh, manually. Put that shit in stick shift.
Oh, yeah,
Overdrive.
Too close to home.
In addition to all that ASMR, we have 4
I
albums
was about to
of
say some
ASMR
stupid shit.
by say your stupid shit. Do
I
it.
was about to say we're having a gay nigger emporium. But I didn't actually say that.
What are you doing?
My favorite kind of deer is
No, we're starting over. That's actually fucking stupid.
Oh my god.
Okay. Who wants to go first?
So Menya Zovu Kamran,
Yes.
Umenya Koshka.
Speak English.
That's all I got. I said my name is Cameron. I have a cat.
Cruz, go first.
Oh, I'm going first? Alright, so
I-
on the Gamer ASMR podcast, we talk about albums. We picked 4 albums. I picked an album. I picked The Dodos by Beware of the Maniacs. And it is
Rip Dodo birds.
yeah, actually, rip the Dodos. The 2 last idiots on Earth. I like the album, and I haven't listened to a single other thing they've done, and it's probably worse. So I enjoy the album. I think it's great. I kind of clock out after the first like 4 or 5 songs, but when I clock out, I have a really good time. I think all the songs are good, especially Men and Horny Hippies, and Trades and Tariffs, Death to Taxes, Taxation is Theft. What do y'all think? Yes.
That's part of the ASMR. That's got a potato chip stuck in my throat ASMR.
So this album. Beware the Maniacs by the Dodos. AKA the Dodos.
Oh shit! It's over. Come over when you're sober, dude.
Woo, if you
Fucking
keep saying
broke
that
my
album,
headset.
I'm
Holy
gonna
shit.
put it up one weekend. You're gonna enjoy
I
it.
think that's so
So-
funny though. I keep saying it. I personally
my
think it's funny.
Come over when you're sober.
Yeah, just rhyming it with something.
Hell yeah. So anyways, this album, I thought it was aight. The first time I liked it more than any other time. I was chilling on the train, and it was cold, and there's smelly people around. People is a euphemism.
Oof.
For what I dare not say. But
You're kinda
Family Family friendly.
I thought I thought this album was a little top heavy, much like Alex's mother.
Oh!
Alex has been so quiet. And he was like,
Because they're actually degenerates.
I've known Cameron since 7th grade. My mother drove him home in the pouring rain one time.
And we're in 8th grade, by the way.
No, I knew you in 7th grade.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Miss Lutz's English class. He
No,
sat
I'm
up in the
saying we are in 8th grade.
Oh, no, I'm still in 7th grade. I didn't quite make it out.
Oh shit, you're right. Yeah, you didn't make it out the hood yet.
By the way,
I couldn't run the mile.
So I thought this album was a little top heavy. I thought like the first songs, they were better. They had good songwriting, and then once you got to like the ball and a Bob, somewhere around there, it just like it wasn't it. But if you stop paying attention by that point, like Mr. Cruz, then it wouldn't matter.
No, I popped
Cruz
back
really
in
got
at Nerds. I popped back at Nerds. I'm like, damn, this album slaps.
Yeah, that's accurate. Yeah, Nerds is good, and I don't remember Lily, but I mean that's basically the rundown.
I like the ball. I thought the drums were really cool.
Oh yeah, they always do this weird. They do like I don't know. I don't want to call it primal drumming, but
they don't use a lot of cymbals. It's like a lot of just like
they use
drums.
like bongos and shit. They
Yeah.
use like I don't know.
I
Jack
don't
likes
know
music.
my
He'd
drum
probably,
types.
he'd probably say something about those weird tall drums and the different drums and
I like
that
it
kind of
though.
stuff. They
I
do
think
that,
they do that on a lot of songs,
and then
that's
the
like,
constant acoustic guitar.
yeah, the drums are like a high point for sure, especially on the ball. And I think Neighbors was one of the not Neighbors, well, especially on the ball. And Neighbors and Horny Hippies had good guitar and good lyrics, so I was into that.
I don't know what they were recording on, but they catch the shifting of the chords, that screech on the metal, like when you play guitar, does that that ringing like rick
Yeah.
rick, that could just be the aesthetic or
Yeah.
Aesthetic.
Radical.
but the mixing quality I think is fine. So I think that was just.
Did I ever tell y'all that a girl stopped talking to me because I said aesthetic once?
I'm fucking deserved, honestly.
Damn.
I ever told you that a girl stopped talking to me because she learned my my moon sign or whatever it's called?
Oh yeah.
I'm a fucking.
That was like that a girl
Well, I mean-
stopped talking to me because I tried to grab her ass.
Yo, same actually.
Well, I knew her. I
I'm not
wasn't
making
just,
that. We
wasn't
don't
just
make
trying
those
to-
mistakes anymore.
I wasn't just trying to play the claw game. I knew her.
Do you remember the story about Icarus?
Yeah.
Shut up! I hate
I'm
you guys
the
for saying
media
that shit
to
so much.
I appreciate it. But I thought this was pretty decent. I didn't think that Cruz would. I think that Cruz likes the guitar. I think that Cruz has some sort of admiration for the way that people play guitar because Cruz is in a band and plays guitar.
That is true. Follow us on Maxwell's and the Boltzmans on SoundCloud.
Yeah. I thought this was all right. This wasn't what I expected it to be. Because there are parts of it where I was like, this is just going to be a folk song, and then they start playing drums, and then I was like, that's not that bad. So
It's folk with a twist.
yeah, it's folk with drums. So I guess you call that like, I guess you call it
Indie
the
folk,
drum
Dodos.
folk.
Joke.
Joke.
Dope.
I was
I'll
gonna
throw
say-
in
Joke.
I'll take Dolk. I'll take
Dolk.
Drok too.
The Dodos. The actual bird might be extinct, but I think they're still.
They're still kicking.
Wait, how do you
I
know
think they're
that?
still
Have you heard
kicking.
their new stuff?
No, but I haven't heard a dodo in a while.
True, dude. True.
Actually, that's not true. I heard McJack did to kick off the podcast. But aside from that one, the Dodos are few and far between. But the Dodos, the band, yeah, not bad.
This,
I think the I think that some of the albums were more stylistically connected than the others, and I think this one had more of a stylistic connection to some of the other ones we picked. Like, because they weren't appropriating African culture.
Oh.
Oh no! No, you can't start, dude.
Also weren't appropriating Aboriginal culture.
Yeah, true. It wasn't white guys on Dig. But sometimes you don't need a white guy on Dig to make an album, and I think
I think most times you don't need a white guy to make an album.
I think if anything, Beware of the Maniacs, or sorry, the Dodos by Beware of the Maniacs proves it. This isn't something that I'd be like, this is cruise music upon first listen, but then I'm like, it's 2019, it's a different year.
He hits the acoustic guitar real good, and I really like the drums.
Yeah, the drums are bops. I like when drummers don't use a lot of cymbal. I like when they just
he's saying, I'm
hit
sure
the drums.
he's saying things, but I sing along with the choruses. I think they're nice.
The actual like vocal
boy,
tone,
you want a man.
I thought was like all right. I wasn't actually like I was much more into some of the lyrics and like the way the words flowed than I was like the way the guy sounded specifically. But I think that definitely not a bad performance. Definitely matches the style.
He's hitting the guitar real hard. He's got shit to do.
Well, how do you know it's him? There's 2 people on the cover.
It's not them. It's 2 guys.
There's 3 people on the cover.
Yeah,
So I
I
think 3
think
people on the cover.
they would not put 3 people on the cover
You're
if there were not 3
trolling me.
people in the band.
Yeah, like Sgt. Pepper. There's like 95 dudes in that fucking band.
And that's the band? Alright.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I thought it was good.
You see a
I gave it a 6 out of 10.
Band.
Low-key, this album reminded me of Vampire Weekend, which probably seems like a weird comparison, but it's like,
My brain hurts
to me, it's
already.
like, to me, it's like, this feels like it's coming from, so like,
California? Is that what the connection is?
no, so like Vampire Weekend is like, it's indie pop music, but like it has, some elements of like, African style drums, in some parts, and it also has like elements of like surf guitar. It's like, to me, it's like if you took that and you replaced the surf guitar with more of like a like bluesy folksy guitar, you get this. Like that's a connection that I made, and like I enjoyed the album a lot. Not because of that connection, but like it just in general it was good. I like the well I do like the the 2 or as no, the 3-man, but maybe if Cruz is correct, 2-man setup. Thought it was interesting and good, but like the songs that I enjoyed the most were the ones where like they did layer in like other instruments, so that doesn't that like dynamic doesn't really exist in those songs, like Elves and Men, which are like the kind of the 2 that like kind of just have like a ton of stuff in the chorus. Enjoyed those songs a lot, but in general I enjoyed most of the songs. Yeah, there was the lyrics
I like the
were
song
weird.
titles.
Yeah, the song
The song titles don't do anything to like tell you what the songs are about, which is something I kind of admire about music.
The thing is that like not all, but like most of the songs have like the title in them somewhere.
Yeah, but it's not like you listen to a song called "Horny Hippies." Do you expect to get what you got?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that you do, but it's just
I'm
like
just
I guess you're right.
I'm just making an observation. I think there's definitely an artistic merit to the way that they conceptually weave the title of the song with the way the song sounds. I think that if you were very much into the lore, you might be able to extrapolate something from that.
The lore.
And I think even short of being into the mythos, I think you can definitely get a kick out of just being like, hey, this is a song called Chickens. Like, hey, you go to like your friend's party and you put on like, hey, this is a song about you, and you put on like Nerds or something, just for a laugh. Do you know what I mean? You know.
I know what you mean, but I think there's some deep lore here. I think it matters. You know,
think
like
it
he
does?
actually says the word lore in one of the songs, and I feel like that's just like a call
does-
where it's like
you-
you're supposed to go for the deep reading. You know.
Do you think it's any reference to the fact there's 3 people on the
write the
cover?
lore?
Maybe there's a phantom third member.
Or Fantano
Oh.
third member.
Like maybe
It's
they
like-
had like a maybe they kidnapped somebody.
It's like fucking Danger Boys.
Yeah, it's like
Holy
Danger Boys.
shit!
Oh yeah, dead nigga stories.
Throw,
Yeah.
throw it back
Just so you guys
to
know, Danger Boy's new EP, 8 out of 10. Wasn't that bad?
Sure.
episode 5.
Buy our
Yeah.
shirts.
Episode 5.
Buy our shirts.
That was
Oh,
episode
Lord.
5.
Watch your
Oh.
episodes.
Yup. It was a hot minute ago. It doesn't feel like it was that long ago.
It happens when you take a 2.5 week break.
2.5
weeks, I
hour
guess.
nap.
I don't know if that's what would happen, quite technically, but
I'd be interested to see what, like, if the Dodos do the same sort of vibe on everything, or if, like, the Dodos go electric in the future or something, or if this is just kind of, like, their vibe is just, like, you know, 2 guys playing 2 instruments. So
I
that's
feel like
definitely something.
if it's just more of the same, it might get tiring. Honestly.
Yeah, but, you know, that stuff, like, you know, it's like,
Maybe this time he'll yell.
well, it's like if you have a really good, well, it's like saying, like, you know, he's only playing the trumpet. Like, come on, dude, how much can you listen to that guy play the fucking trumpet? It's like, well, he plays the trumpet a little bit different, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, I don't know. If it's your
I mean,
vibe, it's your vibe, and if it's not, then, you know,
I'm not saying it's impossible for like
whatever milks
an
you out
artist to like maintain the style and sound interesting every time, but like it's like especially when the style is most as sparse as this mostly is. I feel
But
like
I think there's also lyrical, like, an element of, like, oh, here's a dude singing about some shit that, like, makes you think.
right. Hmm,
You know what I mean?
yes.
Because sometimes there's people out there, they sing, but they don't make you think. And sometimes people make you think, but they don't sing.
Sometimes they make you think
True.
by putting the word lore in, they have to analyze
Yeah.
everything as part
You
of the
write
deep
the
lore.
lore.
Sometimes they make you think by writing music for teenage girls.
True.
And then it's
yeah.
like, man,
That
it's
is
like,
an
you know,
untapped market.
My
Yeah, there's
favorite
literally-
kind of.
it's literally an untapped market.
There-
You
there-
know, maybe if you were able to make your band appeal to the largely untapped and easily impressionable market of teenagers, then I think you could really. They might even make like a store that you could put in every mall based out of that idea.
It's called Hot Topic.
Yeah.
No, I mean that would probably be what you would want to call it, but like, you know, it doesn't exist. So
Yeah. But so, you know, if anybody copies that idea, then you're fucking. I'll see you in court, asshole.
royalties for
Yeah,
royalties for the Gamer ASMR podcast, please.
Yeah. Our podcast is emphasis on the gay.
You're not actually trolling me.
Anybody else have any closing remarks about the Dodos? Beware of the Maniacs.
I didn't write any notes for this album because I only wrote notes for the
Oh, when I was
the,
first
the more jarring LPs.
when I was you know, when the first song was playing, as I was listening to the beginning, I was like, damn, this is fucking more boring cruise music. And then like it got to like the kind of like the bridge part, I guess you might call it, where it's like, you know, he's doing more stuff on the guitar, and I'm like, oh, this is like not just cruise music, and it blew my mind for a second. I was like,
It's
wait,
still boring,
what-
but it's not cruise music.
Was it Cruz who picked this, or was it Alex, or was it Cameron?
You think I would listen to this?
I mean, I don't.
I think
guys
if
surprise me
we
all fucking time.
if we blind picked everything, we might be surprised.
Yeah.
Actually, maybe not.
I
I
mean,
think I would
I
have.
don't
I think
think-
I
I
would have
don't
known exactly who picked everything this week.
I don't think I would surprise you guys
Um,
any, but
what-
like, you guys would surprise me a lot.
Well,
Yeah. Well, that's just because you don't
the
know anything
problem is
about
I
us.
already know that Jack would be you know, and so then I just have to do a gut check off of the last two. I might actually get you two wrong, honestly. It
It
could go
happens.
either way in my head.
Mm.
Maybe that could be an interesting thought experiment.
I respect the gut check.
That can be something we can do for season 3.
It's season
It's not even
Three.
season 2.
It
This
is
is
season
season
2.
two.
We
Yeah,
had a
this is
break.
season 2. We took a break. We had an off season.
Right.
Welcome to season 2. We try to say that. the theme of this season is duality.
The triality of man.
Yeah, the duality of man and you know, the can-do
Quad-
mentality.
The quadrality of man.
And I live by that.
Yeah. So
The
you know,
dodecahedrality of
The-
degrosity.
64D environmentally friendly Jengality
Jenga.
of men.
Mm-hmm.
Speaking on that segue, Jack, what was your album this week? I forgot.
Oh,
I think Jack should go last.
You think Jack should go last?
I-
Really? Okay.
I
I
think
do
Jack
think
should go
Jack
last.
should go
That's
last.
50%.
all right.
I'll go next. I don't know if I've ever gone second.
It doesn't
Breaking-
matter if you've ever gone
Breaking-
second before.
Breaking. I usually go last because usually my albums are the ones that get the jarring response. Anyway,
That's not
breaking new ground on season 2. Nothing is sacred. So my album was "It's a Shame About Ray" by the Lemonheads from 1992. Cruz, how did you find the Dodos album? You forgot I mentioned that.
Was I supposed
Oh, yeah,
to?
no, yeah.
What was I supposed to? Oh,
I think I'm the only one who ever mentions how I found them, but I think it's always interesting.
No, we always do.
okay.
It's a
Yeah,
good-
I think
it's
we
good
do,
part-
but
it's
I
tradition.
just forgot.
Make sure you remember that for when you do your album, Jack.
Rusty. Yeah, let's keep
Make sure
let's
you
keep it a
stroke my
1,000.
ego.
I'll give the credit where credit is due.
I
Thank you.
remember seeing the album cover on Mew, but I never looked into it ever. And then I was on Polyvinyl, which is a label for the store that has Jeff Rosenstock and others.
Mhm.
And I saw that there was a reissue of this 2007 album called Beware the Maniacs. I'm like, why is it a reissue? It's 2007. Music wasn't good in the 2000s. So I investigated and I was like pleasantly surprised. And I
Oh,
never bought
shout
anything off the Polyvinyl sale. So just really
Well,
unlucky.
shout out Polyvinyl for being the
The Catalyst.
the lighthouse in the dark. So my album was "It's a Shame About Ray" by the Lemonheads, and I found this album out. My dad has a book called 1,001 Songs You Have to Listen to Before You Die. He collects there's a whole series of 1,001 books and movies and stuff. So he collects those.
It's a lot
and,
of movies and books.
yeah, one of the songs in the book is "My Drug Buddy." And I was so I was going through it, and I was like, I don't want none of this old stuff, from the 80s. I'm like, Jesus Christ, ancient much. So I skipped ahead to the 90s, and I was like, oh, let me look this song up, because they had a little note in there that was, I think it was Roger Waters from Pink Floyd, that was like, this is the song I wish I would have written. And I was like, man, if Roger Waters is into it, then I'll be into it. And I listened to it, I'm like, this doesn't sound like anything Roger Waters would come up with.
Who's
But
Roger
then I-
Waters?
He's the bassist for Pink Floyd.
Oh, yes.
And I was like, so I was like, yeah, so I listened to it, and I was like, man, this song slaps. And then I watched the music video, and I was like, the music video slaps. And so I was like, man, I wonder if they put this song with other songs together and made a project out of it. And fucking, would you believe there's a whole album? The whole
Wait,
album.
which was the song?
My Drug Buddy, the
Oh.
6th track, I think. Or 5th track, which personally isn't my favorite song on the album, but I do like that song a lot. And then when I was surveying a lot this summer, I was listening to this album a lot because it really kept the mood light when I was
I thought you said surfing at first.
when I was surfing
I thought you
too.
said you're
I do a lot of
surfing.
that. Yeah, when I was being
You're
a surf,
surfing the web,
when I was doing that, and
nerd boy.
so I really got into it over the summer, especially. It's one of my favorite albums. And I just really like the early '90s alt rock vibe, and how this is around the same time that grunge is coming up, but it's just more of a pop, power pop kind of alt rock take on some rock and roll music. And my favorite songs are Frank Mills, Allison's Starting to Happen, and Rudderless. And It's a Shame About Ray. Pretty much everything's pretty decent. I think the album starts really strong and ends really strong, and some of the stuff in the middle is kind of meh. But I think that's not really a problem because it's still pretty good. And I would love to hear what you jabronis thought.
Alright,
Oh.
since Jack wants to laugh, I don't think Cruz starts saying anything, but I don't have ears, so.
Alright, keep going.
When I was listening to this album, the first thing I thought was, it sounds like it could have been made in the 80s, but it wasn't. Alright. And then I looked at the date. I saw 1992, and I realized that, it was a pretty good observation on my part because I have a big brain. But the problem is that sounding like it was made in the 80s, but it wasn't, isn't actually a good thing.
Cameron, to be fair, these
And it's
songs
so-
could have been written in '89 and then
Yeah.
produced in '92.
I mean, that has nothing to do with it. Like, the songs being good or not. They're not good. Spoiler alert. So essentially, this album is, like, it sounds like just ultra standard, boring alt rock. More or less.
On par with like what you would say.
Something I don't like.
Okay. That's okay. Yet another groundbreaking observation from
Is there anything else you want to add?
the resident musicologist.
Hold on, I have other notes. Well, that wasn't from my notes.
He's going off script. Everybody watch out.
Oh yeah, I said that. Gotta open up this bit. I said that in one of the songs he referenced the Beatles, and I said that was a big no-no.
In the song, okay.
He said that so it looked like George Harrison,
Yeah,
but
he
like with
looked
a
like,
leather
looked like
jacket.
somebody that was in the Beatles.
Yeah, okay,
I
yeah,
guess
that's a
just
Beatles
a bad
reference. Yeah,
in the Beatles.
is that a
Shout out-
JoJo
shout out
reference?
every-
No, it's a Beatles reference.
Shout out every nature documentary ever that was made about Beatles. Bunch of posers.
See you.
All posers.
I'll have to make a list of Cameron's rules for music. That'll go in there.
You're gonna make a list of what?
Your rules for music.
My rules.
If you reference the Beatles, it's a big no-no.
Thank you.
Go on
Thank
the
you.
top.
Rule number
That'd be a
one.
good list to have. So like, one of my biggest gripes with this album is that
One of your biggest what?
Gripes.
gripes.
Gripes. It's a grike. I was like, that's
That
not
is
a
a
word.
word. One of my biggest gripes with this album.
Alright.
That sounds like a racial slur. Gripe.
It really does.
Oh wait, it rhymes with one.
I think that's just
Well
fine.
done, Cameron.
Okay. Moving on. I didn't realize it did at first.
we're really drinking some vinegar right now.
Shut up.
I got this new hockey store.
No, shut up.
Your hockey store. Okay, so, where was I? Oh yeah, the songwriting. I felt like he wasn't like singing about anything. Like I don't know who the fuck Ray is, but I know that I don't care about Ray
Well,
because
that's a shame.
I don't think it's Ray from Everybody Loves Ray, and if it's not then
this album predates that sitcom by at least a few years.
at least a few. Not that much, probably, huh?
Maybe 3 to 4
92.
years, I would guess.
Yeah, 3 to 4.
I'm not sure when Everybody Loves Raymond. Shout out Everybody Loves Raymond.
Yeah,
Ray
shout out
Romano, if you're out there.
Raymond. But like, I just felt like everything like he was singing about just like felt worthless. Like I don't care about Ray. I don't care about Allison. I kind of care about Mrs. Robinson because that song was good.
Not even their
But
song.
I don't care about Frank Mills.
You didn't
I
care
don't care
Frank
about the
Mills?
ceiling fan and his spoon. Although,
I cared about Frank Mills a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
oh for real,
Yeah.
who's he?
No, they didn't want he met him at like a club or a bar or something, and he borrowed $2 from him, and then he hasn't seen him in like 4
Damn real
years.
nigga.
And he was like, "Yo, if we ever like, if you're out there, like, we don't want the $2 back. We just want to hang out with you again, dude." And he has golden chains on his leather jacket.
Actually, I care about Frank Mills.
Like, I like Frank
Oh
Mills.
damn.
He resembled George. He had a friend who looked like George Harrison.
Oh, is that the no-no? I care about Frank Mills.
Oh yeah.
I liked Frank Mills.
Yeah, but like the only song that actually like sounded good was Mrs. Robinson.
It's a cover.
Like it just it's a cover. Oh, that explains it.
Well, you didn't know. Well, fair enough. I guess if anybody was not gonna realize that, Cameron would definitely
No,
be.
yeah.
Cameron doesn't listen to white people music.
Yeah, I don't listen to white people music. I don't listen to this kind of white people music. White people make diverse music.
Songs from the '60s.
It's a classic.
Shout out white people.
Shout out white people.
Yeah,
Shout
I
out the
wouldn't-
gringos.
I don't think this actually sounds
Right.
that like 80s. In
Oh,
my
I don't
opinion.
think
But
it
I
No,
guess-
it's not
Like the
80s
80s
to
at all.
me, but
I guess I can kind of understand what you're. It definitely doesn't sound um, like new. But I don't know. I don't know. I guess I see what you're saying.
I personally think the album's alright. Rudderless gets stuck in my head, and I hate it, and I don't like it. It's not stuck in my head for a good reason. It's stuck in my head because they.
Is it because
say
a ship without a
100
rudder?
times.
It's
Yeah.
like a ship without a rudder.
Yeah.
It's like a ship without
Yeah,
a rudder.
yeah. It's like you don't stop coming, and you don't stop coming. You know. And Confetti is one of the best songs ever written.
You
I
like
think
that one?
we're gonna cover it on our indie rock album. There's no way I'm not singing that chorus in any of our songs. That
what chorus?
He kinda shoulda
what was it? He kind of sort of
He-
should have
he-
would have
yeah.
loved her if he could have, but he couldn't.
Kinda sorta woulda shoulda loved her if he coulda.
But he didn't.
Story's getting closer to the end.
Oh, it so fucking slaps.
Damn.
It's so fucking good. I listened to it like 6 times. More than 6 times.
Damn.
A lot more than 6 times.
Hell yeah.
Big
My
pimpin'
Drug
out
Buddy
here.
kind of sucks. It's repetitive and it doesn't get stuck in my head. So it's a step.
My
more
favorite thing
rudderless.
about My Drug Buddy is when they played it on the radio, they had to just change the name to Buddy because they weren't even allowed to have the word drug in the title.
I'm putting that on the radio.
That's how beta that shit was.
They can't stop me.
Yeah.
Let's see. Allison's Starting to Happen is catchy. I don't remember those 3 songs.
Yeah, those are those 3 kind of. The album drops and then Frank Mills comes and then the last song is
Frank
good.
Mills slaps. That's the worst Miss Robinson cover I've ever heard. I've only heard another cover and
It's
it's
the
way
best one
better.
I've ever heard.
That's their biggest radio hit too.
It's
Sad.
it's just another song I've heard that. Well, they didn't really.
Way
They
too
covered
much.
it. It's an AJJ song.
Well, who?
No, did dinner time do it?
Not yet.
Not yet.
Not yet.
I can't remember.
So,
what
like,
AJJ
well, what's the
covered.
original?
Simon and Garfunkel, 1960 something,
68.
68, 69, something like that.
Yeah, I got that Wikipedia page open.
You did, okay, yeah. Simon and Garfunkel, it's like they're white people, 2 white guys.
Yeah, they make music.
Yeah, I could've
Paul and
guessed.
Arthur. One guy sings and the other guy does the rest of it.
Hell yeah.
But I thought it was good alternative rock music. Something that I haven't heard in a while. The only time I hear that music was like go home, and my stepdad says he loves the Smashing Pumpkins,
And listen to Say It Ain't So.
and then we listen to Say It Ain't So, and we play Rock Band, and Rock Band only has that kind of music,
Hell yeah.
which is what I'm trying to get down to.
Which is the kind of music you play in your band.
Heck yeah. And I can't wait. This is an 8 out of 10. Great album.
Hell yeah.
Album cover
Would you-
sucks. 2 out of 10.
I don't think
Which
that's the
one?
actual album cover.
Yeah, the expanded edition cover or the original
Expanded
one? The
edition.
original.
I haven't
I don't
seen
actually
the-
like the original one that much
Haven't
either,
seen the
but
original.
it's just like a picture of a girl. Kind of, with like a
9
card
out
with
of
that.
10.
Oh,
What stance did you have, Jack?
I was more leaning towards Cameron, honestly.
Confetti.
It's pretty fucking lame. It's not that bad. I just like I was not nearly as interested in this album as I was the other 2 albums that were not mine. And I found some of the songs a little meh. A lot of them pretty forgettable. I just didn't find a lot of the instrumentals interesting at all.
I know this predates the computer by several years.
It hurts.
Oh, I'm fucking dead.
And I don't know about you guys, but the computer's my favorite instrument.
Yeah, that's what I'm
Same.
saying, dude.
I like the computer and the symbols.
And I like the beeps.
But yeah, so yeah, there's nothing like particularly compelling about it. It felt very average to me. and like there were
Is
there were
what your
times.
last girlfriend said to you? Fuck. Sorry.
Compared to what? What is this compared to?
Okay, so like
This is being compared to Discovery by Daft Punk.
Yeah.
so
Compared
like
to the
okay.
Jamiroquai album, this isn't nearly as culturally appropriative.
True.
I would like to put on record that, and I know this sounds strange, but although the Jamiroquai album has a lower rating, if I had to pick one and only listen to it for the rest of my life, I'd pick the Jamiroquai album out of these two. But we'll get to that.
Cameron's staying close to home.
So maybe I should stop the ratings, but we'll see.
It's his heritage.
Yeah, I can just pretend that they're black eventually if I just drill it into my head enough. But
We'll get to that. We'll get to that.
Yeah.
Save it for the podcast.
Yeah, save it for the podcast.
But so yeah, I found a lot of it's just like instrumentally boring. Like for not to spoil my opinion on Cameron's album, but like I enjoyed Cameron's album a lot, which is stylistically not super far from this. It's more energetic and it's like I guess more towards like a pop punk set area than towards than this is, but like it's still somewhat similar, and I just like I found that much preferable. And like I guess like generally I would prefer this kind of music to be a bit faster and a bit more energetic, like a bit more distortion on the guitar, you know, like
When you
like
say
if
this
it was
music, you mean the music that's not fast and energetic. You want the music that's not fast and energetic to be more fast and energetic.
Mm-hmm.
You want
Yes.
indie rock from the '90s to sound like indie rock for today?
honestly like
Don't forget too,
There's
if
a
you're
lot of indie rock
old,
for
if
today
you're
that sounds
old,
like
you're
this shit.
bad and useless, is what Jack is saying.
Mm-hmm.
Ageism is my favorite kind of ism.
Jack says, "Kill your heroes, be gay, do crime."
it's just like there's songs on this that like kind of feel like they're getting close to something that I would want to listen to, and then there's like some where it's just like, oh, he's playing his guitar and he's singing over it, and it's a song.
Jack,
I
there's a
guess.
word for your feeling. It's called disappointment.
There's
No,
a word
it's-
for your,
it's more
there's a
like
word for your
apathy.
feeling. It's called jealousy. No,
It's apathy.
that's a big word.
I actually kind of like Rudderless because the chord progression in it is one of the only like really interesting parts of like the album musically, because it has like these kind of like this dissonance in it, which is like, ooh, spicy, you know, it's a spicy meatball, like the spicy lasagna I was eating earlier. Thanks Garfield.
Garfield, where's the lasagna? I ate those food. Continue.
Yeah, it was just kind of boring. That's-
So like the thing is like you can make this faster and more energetic, and it's not like it'd be a whole different genre, you know. So like you can make the music that isn't fast and energetic fast and energetic,
Mm-hmm.
and like it wouldn't be fundamentally different. It would just be better, you know.
Any music that's not fast and energetic is inferior to music that's fast
I
and
would have to
energetic.
disagree that if you even made it faster, I think it would sound worse. I think
Don't forget
the
that
pace
if
it
you
is now
take-
is fine.
If you take the funeral procession music they play when you put somebody in the grave, and you just
That shit is
speed
hypey.
it up and put a pop punk chorus on it, you have
That'd be
inherent,
lit. Oh, don't get me started.
you have inherently better music,
Yeah, you have the Black
and,
Parade,
and you're not
And then,
you're
like,
not
it's
changing the
lit.
genre at all. You're keeping the same genre exactly because you're not doing anything different when you speak.
You could literally, you could just increase the BPM by like 20. It would already like be a better album.
Mhm.
I'm not
But
like
you could
necessarily-
also make it to be faster, you know, like.
That's definitely an option.
I'm not saying that like the album like that every single song of the album needs to be faster and louder and like more energetic and more distorted. I'm just saying that like I'm not even saying that like it has to be that for me to enjoy it specifically, because there is stuff that I listen to and enjoy that's acoustic or relatively slow.
I think
But,
you're
like-
fucking acoustic.
I'll
But
figure
you know,
on that one.
it's just I I don't know. I just found it really like boring and middling, and just like
One day I'm gonna pick an album that everybody likes.
One day.
You won't. You won't.
Actually, I picked one that everybody had a positive opinion on, but one day.
Yeah, it was Youth Pictures.
Yeah, Youth Pictures, and that needed to be
Wait, we
faster
didn't
and
like
energetic,
Pink Floyd.
honestly. Cameron didn't like Pink
You
Floyd.
hated it?
Yeah, no, I didn't. Let me see what I gave it.
It's a 1970s album. Cameron said this shit sounds like it's from the
Fucking
80s. He's gonna be like,
true,
shit sounds
and
like it's
it's
from the 1860s.
Alright, let's see. Yeah, that was 9. I
Sounds
gave that a 1. I did not
Yeah.
like it.
Cameron thought they marched into fucking Revolutionary War battles to that shit. He thought it was so old.
Yeah.
They built the wall on that, you know.
Yeah, it's like some shit that my dad would listen to. That's how old it is.
All right, I think that's
I'm gonna pick some
I
fast and
thought they were
energetic
using
shit
the
next
fucking
week.
barter system back
Yeah,
when the album
you're
came out.
gonna pick something fast and energetic next week, and it's gonna
And
be.
and everybody's
It
gonna
should
hate
slow
it.
it down. You gotta
I
slow
wish
it
they
down
would
to be
slow
better.
it down.
If you would slow it down by about 20 BPM, it's
By about
better.
20 BPM, it'd be perfect.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna, and what it is, it's actually just gonna be this album sped up by 20 BPM.
I love that.
All right, if you're down to dig that.
Yeah, just this album, Nightcore, better album, but it probably should get the
All right,
same
what's the first
score.
Nightcore album, honestly? Do I have to pick it?
Dude, I'll pick some Nightcore.
We already had the first Nightcore album. We had Machine Girl like 3 weeks ago.
Oh, because
First of all, Machine Girl wasn't good, and it was a Nightcore. So
Yeah, that, listen
first,
together,
those are
like,
two of those things are synonymous, and that's not Machine Girl.
yeah, I like Machine Girl.
Machine Girl made me want to go good Nightcore, if you know what I'm saying. Put me to- That's the genre of music
I would
that is.
definitely sleep on that one, you know.
Yeah. It's like songs to avoid, you know.
Yeah. If your boy invites you to a you know, Machine Girl concert, you say you gotta like vacuum the kitchen
Jamiroquai,
or
more like
something.
damn they tried.
God damn.
Hey Cameron, what was your album?
Cameron, remember
It's
Sports Ball?
actually gonna be fire.
I don't sport ball. I'm gonna keep it 1,000. So,
Cameron played left tackle in high school.
Hell yeah, he played left.
oh, dude, I was looking for my fucking album, but I was on the previous playlist. Alright. All of Something by Remember Sports is the debut album of Nightcore band Sports.
I like, just before we continue, I like how if you just said like I listen to Nightcore music, that sounds like something really like aggressive and like, man, this is like hardcore music for night. And then you look up what it actually is, and it's like, oh, okay. Sorry.
So, All of Something is a debut album of I already said all this. So the band used to be called Sports, but they changed it because there's like 5 billion bands with the name Sports.
Like American
So
football.
they changed it to Remember Sports, which was a pretty good change. Better than a lot of niggas changes. Certainly ranks a lot higher than Natalie Portman's shaved head into Bright Futures.
Great tires
Natalie
and
Portman's
Bruce
Shape
Jenner
Head
into
is
Caitlyn
one of the
Jenner.
best band names I've ever heard.
This might not be this might be just below Dale Earnhardt Jr. becoming just Jr. because that's a pretty good one. I like that one.
Yeah, shout out Dale Earnhardt Jr.
I don't know anything about that band though, but
They make fast music,
oh, do that?
like electronic music.
So they also
Oh,
Jack would love
Oh
them.
yeah, Jack music.
Jack would fucking love them.
Hell yeah.
You can't take a genre of music and just put our names on it.
Yes, you really
Yeah, we
can.
do. Yeah, that's what you want us to think. Cruise music.
Yeah.
You think just because it's a white guy who's a little upset about the world playing guitar, you think that it's not your music? Cruise, well, guess what?
You're wrong.
You're wrong.
Cause you should change your last name to Music.
No, you can't. I don't want to be called Cruise Music Cruise.
Yeah,
Music.
Cruise. Don't call me Cruise. Cruise music.
Yeah.
Oh.
All right, so I listened. Are you done, Cameron?
No, I didn't say anything about the album. Other than its name.
I think my favorite band name change was Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner.
There's not a band called Bruce Jenner.
Alright. So, I like this album because I like hearing her voice crack. Amongst other things. I like her voice. I don't really know what to say. I just thought I picked this on a whim because I saw that they were playing a show, but I didn't go to the show. I bought a ticket, but then I
You
don't want
pussy
to
out.
talk about it. I didn't go.
Do you know who they were touring with?
They were headlining actually.
Oh, no,
Wow.
that concert.
It was just like at like a tavern somewhere.
Ooh.
But I didn't feel like walking 20 minutes and it was snowing. It was like a whole thing. So I didn't go. But whatever. I still, I don't know. I gave him my money, which I'm not too salty about. So, yeah, it's all theirs. You know, shout out to my $13 down the fucking drain.
That's pretty good.
That's cheap as shit. What the fuck?
Yeah, that's what
Shout out
happens when you listen to
$13.
modern indie music. They're actually
Yeah.
just throwing it away, giving it for us for free.
Yeah. That's 20 BPM faster than the Lemonheads.
So I listened to Remember Sports, All of Something, debut album 2015. They're going to be headlining a show that I'm going to go to, and I might skip it. But
Hell yeah.
Who are they going with?
Jeff Rosenstock and Joyce Manor,
Oh god, those boys aren't big enough to get the headline spot. Goddamn.
they're headlining. These are the
Oh,
openers.
these are the opening.
Yeah,
Okay.
this is the
So you show up
opening
like 30 minutes after when it tells you to show up.
Yeah. No,
And
you
then
show up an
really
hour and a
good
half
stuff.
later, and then they're ready, and then you actually listen to the good music.
They'd be like, you remember sports, and you'd be like, damn, no, I
This
don't.
album is atrocious. I can't listen to it. It's so fucking bad.
Why?
Let's
It's cruise
start
music.
off with instrumentation. It's literally the most bland thing I've ever heard of. Out of any indie rock album I've heard
It's
from
more bland than
2015.
It's a Shame About Ray.
No, Shame About Ray's gun, it kills it compared to this shit. This shit sucks. Her voice, that's an upside for Cameron, which, that's fine. That's his opinion.
Upside for me
I
too.
really don't like her voice. She really she sounds like a complainer. She sounds like a nagger.
I think Cruz just hates
Whoa,
women.
whoa.
She
Cruz.
sounds like a wife.
Cruz.
She sounds like
You
a
can't
ball and
call
chain
him
to me,
that.
to be honest. I'm not ready
You
for
can't
that. I'm
call
not
him
ready for
that.
that kind of commitment yet.
Chris is so BM.
It's just like I don't want to hear you complain. In some, let's say I do enjoy some of the songs. I think some of them are fine. I like reality TV. I like it. Get Bummed Out, but it's not because of the instruments. It's not because of her voice. It's just they're just better than the other stuff you have to wade through. It's like, I don't know. I really wanted to remember sports. Like I really wanted to get into all the music I go and see, so that I'll find some of it enjoyable. But this I can't do it. I can't do it on this one.
Fucking virgin.
Yeah, what a virgin, dog.
Imagine having so many girl problems that when you hear a girl sing, you're just like, oh my god, I
Yeah.
can't handle it.
I like
can't
girl
handle it."
singers.
Imagine
Oh
hating
my God,
women in
Imagine
2019,
being,
dog.
imagine being
don't-
Yeah,
don't lie to
yeah,
us,
but you don't like woman singers, alright?
No,
No, yeah, I
Imagine
like
being
You only like women who don't sing.
Jack, you know the other side of that coin of I can't believe a woman is singing is being such a virgin that a woman singing is enough for you to like it.
Yeah.
So watch your fucking stealth there, buckaroo.
Yeah, it certainly sound like a...
Hey,
Never mind.
the only singer I'm trying to kiss today is J.K. Jamiroquai.
Who, that's why it's called Jamiroquai, because J.K. Jamiroquai.
I don't get it.
We're
I
not
don't
there.
get the reference.
Remember sports?
I don't.
What?
I thought the album was pretty good. I really like that song, Get Bummed Out. I like the vocal performance a lot. I like that she clearly doesn't give a shit, what she sounds like, which I think is a really good, mentality to have when you're making music like this, because it's definitely part of the aesthetic. The not lo-fi, but we're making this because we're young and we hate everything you stand for. The more I listened to it, the more I ended up getting into it, and I don't even mind the dude who sings that much. I think Clean Socks is my least favorite song on the album, but that's just it's near the end, so that's all right. But
It's
Get
the
Bummed
slowest
Out
song on the album.
is what?
It's the slowest song on the album.
Yeah, it reminded me too much of the Lemonheads, I think.
Yeah, you need
Yes,
to be
man.
fascinated more than you-
Saturday, Getting On in Spite of You, Reality TV, Get Bummed Out, good songs. Shout out Remember Sports, I'll remember them. this album was good enough to get saved in my
Oh shit.
in the space, and that's saying something
Oh, in your
about.
actual space and not in your
Yeah.
fake space?
Well, because I did an overhaul.
Oh, so you moved most of your stuff to the fake space?
I moved most of my stuff to a playlist called "The First Songs Off of Albums I Need to Listen to," and that playlist is almost 800 songs long. So we got more space now.
Hey, Spotify, we're fucking destroying your system,
Yeah,
idiots.
yeah, I'm actually getting around your fucking walls. So
Sometimes we build walls not to keep people out, but see who goes through the effort to bring them down.
not to keep people out, but to keep people in.
That too.
Literally keeping them in.
Oh.
I thought it was pretty decent. I gave
Yeah,
it a
but
B.
you know,
I
Chris
think
hates
that-
women, so
I understand
I
what
would have
Cruz
to
is
agree with
saying.
that.
I understand. This is definitely like, if I'm having a bad day, that's a bad example. If I'm having a day where I'm like,
I'm
man,
having a day.
I want to listen to some music that like isn't music that makes you cry, but it's music that takes me back to a point in my life where I was sad. I'm gonna throw on some Remember Sports. They're in that mix. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Shout out Remember Sports. I remember a lot of them: baseball, basketball, and lacrosse.
American football.
Football, almost forgot about that one. Yeah.
American
Yeah, I like singers that sound like they don't care, as opposed to
I don't even think it's that. I think that it's like it's a vocal performance where it's like it's strain, but in a way that like still is okay to the ears.
I mean, like, it's just compared to the Lemonheads. I guess I can go a little deeper on my gripe with the Lemonheads and the one surf rock album Cruz picked, and a lot
Donkeys.
more things. It's because they sound like they don't care,
But they just
and
say
I
like
know
that.
that
Well,
sounds
I would-
strange.
I would also argue that she sounds like she doesn't care, but I guess you're implying
Well-
that it's different directions.
Yeah,
No,
different
yeah,
directions.
she doesn't care how she sounds she's being emotional. They don't have emotion.
It's ambivalence versus anarchy.
It's like it's like she sounds like she gives a fuck, you know. But I think that's a better way. It's like she gives a fuck,
She gives so
just
much
like
of a fuck
about
that
what she's singing about. But like,
she gives so much of a fuck that it goes full circle and it becomes like I care so much that I don't care what people think.
yeah, but like the Lemonheads and the Donkeys and all that, they just sound like they're just some niggas that just threw some music together.
Man, there's a whole
Like they're
genre of
just
music
singing
you
it,
should
you
stay
know?
away from.
Yeah.
It's called stoner rock.
It's called rock.
I believe the vibe is we don't care.
Yeah, but Stoner Rock is actually better than this. Like Stoner Rock is just aesthetically and like the way it sounds. It's like I guess it technically does have the same vibe, but they take it in a different direction. That actually sounds interesting.
Shout out to
No.
I agree.
But like the Lemonheads just sounds like bland instrumentation.
Mm-hmm.
And I can definitely see how you
listen
think
to
of
this.
this as bland, but like at the very least it's hyphy. So
In
I
what
can like
way is it hyphy?
I can headbang to it, you know?
Without the lyricist, how is it hyphy?
What?
I don't know,
These even like without the lyrics, like the instrumentals are just like Weezer style, like power pop shit. You know?
I don't hear it.
Saying so. This is better than saying so is what Jack's saying.
I'm not saying that.
You can't talk the best song of all time.
Jack, you can't say that. Jesus Christ.
Jack,
fuck.
it did happen, Jack. You can't say that.
Oh my
It's proof by
god.
history
We're
that
gonna have to
event did
bleep
happen.
that out now. We're just gonna have to go and edit this and bleep that. Oh my god. What were you thinking?
Uh,
Oh god, he has his headphones on. He can't hear me.
the AirPods.
yeah, I thought this album was really good. Enjoyed it quite a lot, and now that I know that they're opening, I'm gonna force us to go early so that we have to listen to it when we go to the concert. So fuck you, Cruz.
Oh, shout out to Cruz for not inviting me to this concert, by the way. Everybody knows
Oh,
that.
you should come, and then we can listen to Remember Sports while Cruz sits in the bathroom. He's just a loser.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cruz his dick sucked in that bathroom while I'm listening to Remember
I'm
Sports.
very pleased to have discovered I have an entire arsenal of albums to pick whenever Cruz makes me angry. They,
When have I ever made you angry?
there's more where this
Is
came
it this
from,
time?
is all I'm
Is it
gonna
once?
say.
Is
Anytime
on an
I
album
want,
you picked on a whim?
anytime you hit me with the donkeys, I'm coming right back. All right? I want you to know that. I want you to know that from this point forward, I will counterattack with everything I have.
Well, anything you pick would be better than this.
Yikes.
I'm gonna challenge that. I'm gonna find something.
The singer's voice reminded me of like, I don't know. There's like there's a variety of like female singers who do the same thing where like they there's one specific like vocalization she did where I was gonna bring it up because I felt I could imitate it and I forgot what it was.
Aren't
But,
vocalizations like Hatsune Miku?
I hate you so much.
It's a Hatsune album.
Dude, I can pick a Hatsune Miku album, but that's
Sometimes just because you can doesn't mean you can.
With great power comes great responsibility.
Yeah.
but it's like
I will pick a Vocaloid album on episode like 100.
I got a couple Vocaloid albums.
there's like Alanis Morissette and like there's other like Canadian female singers who do like the things where like their voice just does the thing and it's like, if your cruise would be like, oh no, stop being whiny, stop wanting me to marry you,
Yeah,
women.
stop. I don't
my
want to
God.
mow the lawn tonight.
Saturdays are for the boys,
Little
honey.
boys.
Stop flirting with me, silly girl.
Yeah. Don't you know
But,
I'm saving myself?
But I enjoyed that. If there's any like major complaint I have with this album, I feel like the washing machine was not a good closer. It kind of ends abruptly and it's not like climactic.
It's like my
Clean-
fucking washing machine.
Clean
Like-
Socks would have been a better closer, even though like Clean Socks is like the so sad song, but like it would have been a better closer. I feel.
So, I mean, I can see where you're coming from. My thing about the washing machine is that it's a cool song, and then the last like 40 seconds, like that outro of it is like straight bonkers. And if they had made that longer and just made it like a 5-minute song and just had like more of the thing that they were doing at the end, then it would have been like it would have been an absolutely insane closer. But as it happens, it like the way they did it, it does end very abruptly, which is unfortunate. Because it's actually the very end of the album is the best part of the album, and for
I think Cruz,
very
Cruz would
different-
agree with you.
Yeah, Cruz would agree with that,
I'll take that one.
for a very different reason.
Yeah, I like most of the album. I didn't really like the song where the guy sings.
Me
Or
neither.
like I found the song alright, but I don't like his singing. When like the song in the songs where he's doing background vocals, it's fine. But like, stick to background vocals, kid.
It's not as
You're
bad
not
as
cool
Church's
enough,
was.
kid.
Like Church's, when the guy started singing, it was like, let me turn this off. I didn't think it was that bad. I think it at least still fit the vibe.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it fit the vibe though. I just
He sounded like the male version of her, but the male Church's vocalist did not sound like the male version of
Labyrinth.
Labyrinth. So that yeah,
that
plays
makes
a
sense.
part in it.
Yeah, I won't. I'm gonna wash some clothes in my washing machine so I can get some clean socks. On
Wait, I
Saturday.
actually get the reference.
I
On Saturday, that I'm gonna go harder so Jack gets bummed out.
yikes.
Like bummed out as in like his ass falls out.
This
Dang.
conversation's really slowing down. You might say it's stunted.
Yeah, speaking of stunted, dude, how's it feel to be 5'6"?
It makes me get bummed out.
Yeah, it gets you bummed out, dude.
It's like I watch reality TV sometimes,
Yeah.
trying to look,
You know,
trying
you
to project
contribute,
myself on the tall guys who are
you
walking around the
contribute nothing to
town.
the GDP.
You know, whenever I think
Well, you
about
know-
Jack, my dick gets harder.
Hearing
Oh.
that made me want to leave town.
Thank God it's Saturday.
Thank God it's Saturday, dude. And getting on in spite of that, the last album we have this week is
The last
Jeez.
album is
uh,
this is the return
is Cowboy
of the
Bebop.
Space Cowboy.
Cowboy!
Yeah, so this is the second studio album by British
Yo!
band Jamiroquai. This is from
Came out the
1990.
same year as the Blue album.
Yeah, same year as Who's There.
Keep that in mind. It's a surprise
so
to
they're,
leave later.
This is their second album, and it's back when they were still trying to like actually be like a kind of like funk and acid jazz band rather than like trying to just be disco, which disco music's fine. I like disco music a lot, but like as far as Jamiroquai is concerned, I feel like the older stuff is kind of better.
How'd you find Remember Sports, Cameron?
Oh yeah.
It was probably Get Bummed Out on Discover Weekly.
Okay.
Speaking of finding the stuff, my good friend Alex, who no relation to this Alex,
Yeah.
recommended me
So I fucks
Jamiroquai.
tons of girls.
Go Bobcats.
I do
I
hear
was-
that this Alex recommended you a much better Jamiroquai project, though.
Well, yeah. So this Alex recommended me the song "All Right," which appears on the album after this one, and recommended to me that I don't actually listen to any of their albums in full because the Greatest Hits album is their best album.
I still stand by that, I think.
I mean, I
It's
feel
a
like
good album.
I feel the only album of theirs that I've listened to in full that has challenged my belief that the Greatest Hits album is the best album is this one.
This one.
And it's probably of the full-length studio Jamiroquai albums, this one is my favorite. Other ones I've listened to, I haven't listened to the 2001, 2005 ones.
I'll be honest, dude, my favorite
Afraid of
Jamiroquai
it.
album is fucking Rock Dust Light Star from fucking 2010. That shit slaps.
I mean, Lifeline is a,
Lifeline is the old.
bomb.
Oh my god, it's the biggest banger of all time.
and then they made that one in 2017 that we don't talk about.
I haven't
Um,
listened to it. Anyway.
I did not like it at all. But so yeah, the Return of the Space Cowboy. Yeah. I actually got this on vinyl for Christmas. It's pretty cool. I like the album a lot. It's
Oh,
got-
it's on vinyl.
I haven't even opened it to listen to it yet. I just have
Okay.
it.
He's a collector.
I'm
not
a
a sitter.
I'm a collector.
What you do is you gotta buy your favorite album, never open it, like what I did with Sufjan Stevens. Come on and feel the Illinois.
Everybody's a fucking critic.
I don't think this album is perfect. If there's anything that any specific part I would call out as not liking, it would be The Kids, which I
Are you
think,
serious?
which is a song that I think develops to be good, but I feel like the way it opens, where it's just the heavy envelope filter on the guitar, is like super like abrasive. Wow, 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 wow. It's like, oh, okay.
That song's actually good though.
It's a good. I think it's a good song. I just don't. I think it shouldn't have opened with just that sound, because especially in that first verse, it's like super prominent, and like later in the
Remember,
song.
if your song is 5 minutes long, the most important part of that 5 minutes is the first 10 seconds.
I'm not saying just the first 10 seconds. I'm saying like the entire like first verse, because they progressively add more and more instrumentation. And it's like it's a good song, but early in the song, I think that is too prominent. That's like the single biggest point of criticism I have for this album. Otherwise, I think it's an excellent example of long jammy funk compositions that just fucking got the groove, and yeah, that's how I feel about it. And I know Cameron feels differently. I think he has some strong feelings.
Should I go first?
Or you can go first. Since
Should we let Cameron?
Yeah, we'll let Cameron go.
We'll
Let Cameron go last. How do you?
Oh, you want me to go
You're
last?
going last.
Oh boy.
Big album
Yeah,
doesn't-
yeah.
Back to the
bus.
Mm.
Back of the battle bus.
Just
Jack.
kidding.
Yeah.
You can't say that.
Jack, we're gonna have to edit that out. Oh my god, Jack.
I don't have money to hire an editor.
Did you leave your fucking brain at home, Jack? What were you thinking? Oh my fucking god.
But yeah, Alex,
I'm
as the
sorry,
other
audience.
Jamiroquai fan here, how'd you feel about
I would
this?
say that there's a certain like era of Jamiroquai that I stay away from. And it's this era. And that's mainly because they're not all like funky vibes and disco tunes, which is really what I'm a more big. And it's not all chill either. Some of it's like really high energy, like The Kids, or which it's high energy in a way that's not like really funky and jazzy. It's like they're just
I mean,
going.
I'd say it's very funky, but
Or
like
like what's the other song?
it's an aggressive funk.
What was the one about the dude that had the gun?
Just another
Just
story.
another story.
Just so like don't make any fucking moves. I'm like, Jesus Christ, JK, I know what you look like. You can't say that shit to me. Take your fucking stupid hat off, dude. But one of my main complaints is I honestly think the single version of Space Cowboy is better, even if the only difference that I can tell is the way that he says the opening line. But I think that the way he says the opening line is just better, personally. And that's one.
And
That's
what
one
matters
thing
about a
I
song
did-
is the first 10
Is the
seconds.
first- You thought it was a joke. It wasn't a joke.
It wasn't a joke.
Because I don't. The reason I like Rock Dust Light Star and most of the songs on Traveling Without Moving is that they start off as something and they don't end as something else. Like a song like Space Cowboy, for example, starts off as like something, and then when it gets to like a little bit past what I guess you could call the chorus in the song, it kind of it starts like da 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 da. You know what I mean?
I mean it's not as jarring a transition in the album version.
Well,
but
yeah, it changes. And that's something that, like, if you like that, you're gonna like a lot of the album because that sort. I don't know exactly what you would call that sort of instrumentation and like feel, but there's a lot of those kind of songs on the album. Like specifically just like the heavier side of some of the songs.
I mean,
but I also don't think that it would be fair to say that like just because it's not my favorite Jamiroquai album doesn't mean that it's not still decent. Like I still gave it a 7. I still think that overall it's really good. I also like the beginning of the song Stillness in Time. I like the songs where you can just hear JK singing with like a little bit of soul. I think some of the songs are a little too long, but I know there's a lot of like a jam and sort of like, we're gonna let this guy have a little bit of a bass moment and this guy have a little bit of a moment and let JK sing a little bit. Like that's a vibe. That's a thing they do on the album, which I respect. But I think some of the songs that are in like the 6 to 7 to 8 minute territory go on. Especially the opening track, I think goes on just a little bit long.
I
And I
definitely
don't know if Space Cowboy needs to be 6 minutes long either, but it's a good song. I really like that song.
I definitely see where you're coming from. Where like if you don't like the type of structure that these songs do, this album's not gonna appeal because it is where like most of the songs are very long and they all have like they all really like build in different ways like. And they
There's no song that starts. It doesn't. No song ends the way it starts, for better or for worse.
Yeah, and I mean, it's something that I really like got attached to when I started listening to this album over and over again. Because to me it was like it's not every song, but like there's just so many. There's quite a few songs of the album where it's like, at the end it's like they have like kind of a verse chorus structure that's kind of going for a while, and then at the end it's just like they're just playing the chorus groove over and over and over, and it's just building up, and it's something that's just like really cool and jammy to me, and it's like they do that in Just Another Story, and they do that in Manifest Destiny and Light Years, and they kind of do it in Scam, but they kind of do it differently there, where like at the end they bring in this like keyboard part that changes up how everything feels, and it's just really cool. But yeah, if you really don't like that kind of structure, it's not.
I think that
if
you're out there and you've never listened to Jamiroquai, I would say listen to Traveling Without Moving first, and then if the songs that are different than the main just funky ones on there you like, then you'll probably like this.
Yeah, that's a good way
and
of
if you
saying
love
it.
if you love appropriating African culture, you'll absolutely this is a gold
You'll
mine.
love this, and you'll love the Dodos.
I stand.
There's a didgeridoo on this album, and
There
I don't
is a
think anybody in
didgeridoo.
this band is qualified to be playing the didgeridoo from a cultural standpoint. But yet again, I don't think any white couple who covers a rap song is culturally qualified to play the ukulele. But here we are. I didn't think it was bad. It inspired me to maybe check out some more Jamiroquai than what I've already listened to.
Alright, Cruz, your turn.
I'm up next to bat.
I don't know when the Space Cowboy left, but maybe I'm glad he's back.
Back from the dugout.
Remember the Space Cowboy?
Remember sports? Okay, so to preface this, I think I did listen to this album when I was 14. I think 15.
How?
This album wasn't
So
out when
I
you were
was-
14. Grandpa.
First of all, shut up. You're 12. All right.
I farted on the ground.
I farted on the ground, and that was my. I only listened to metal all day phase. Well, still the phase. Still in it.
Right.
And
Nope.
I
I might-
really didn't chill with it. And I just remember the cover, and I remember liking Cowboy Bebop. So I was like, yes.
Did I remember? Okay. I was gonna say, I don't know if I recommended you this album, because 14 was about when I started getting into Jamiroquai too.
So, that's some preface. Another preface is I do enjoy Cowboy Bebop, and this is not jazz. So let's just get this straight. All right, so
This is another kind of Negro
this
music.
is culturally appropriated music without the kind of people who actually make that kind of music.
I mean,
There's,
for the
there's
record,
one or two, at
there's
least.
two. There are. I think there were 2 black people in the band at this point.
Was the
Out of,
keyboard guy in the
what,
band at this
7?
point?
I think they have like 5 members in the like 5
I
like
don't know.
actual members
Yeah,
in the
there's
band.
Not a bad ratio.
At least
Was the
3/5.
dude who plays the keys who died in the band on this album?
I don't know.
Fucking
Rest in
Ted or
peace.
what's his name? Ted something? T.
Toby
Oh,
Smith.
God.
Ted
Toby
Leo, the
Smith.
pharmacist.
Toby something. Tobuskins. Anyway,
Shout out.
continue, Cruz. I'm
Did he
sorry.
do some pedophile shit?
No, he
Nah,
did other
he-
things.
he
He did
did
sexual
cocaine.
harassment things.
Oh, cocaine.
Cocaine. So I think that the worst part of the album is the intro, because I just don't like. First of all, I'm not a funky guy. Like, I don't get up and like I snap and then like I
Yeah, we know.
I hit
we know.
those. Like, I'm not a dancing in my chair kind of guy. And unlike my boy Jack, who can kill the rhythm, feels the rhythm, hits the beats.
Dude,
you know?
dude, I like literally in the restaurant as I'm listening,
Yeah, so he's that
dancing
guy.
around. My manager's
Have
just
you ever
looking at me
seen
like,
Baby
"What the fuck are you
Driver?
doing?"
It's him, but with like Tourette's. Like that's what Jack would be doing, hitting the bojangles. Wait, he's killing it.
And you wonder why your food doesn't get made properly.
Yeah.
That food has
It's
soul.
about time.
Soul, Alex. It's got soul. It's got culturally appropriated
Oh, that's
soul.
why it's soul food.
Yeah, it is soul food.
Oh.
So, Just Another Other Story I don't like, but I think I like the rest of the album, especially when the guy stops talking. First of all, I don't look into any of the bands we listen to. So, I have predispositions of what people look like. And I thought the lead singer was a
Black lady.
black lady. Yes, it's a black
Hey.
lady. And I thought, I was like, man, she's killing it, and I love it. And then Jack's like, oh yeah, it's a dude. I'm like, God, this is awful. This is all. He's doing his best Stevie Ray impression or something. What was it?
Stevie Wonder.
Stevie
there
Wonder.
are people who joke that he's just ripping off Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, and I don't know, it makes me sad. I wanted to see the black lady kill it on stage, honestly. She can kill it on stage in my heart. But I really like Half the Man. That song kills it. I liked the Journey to Arnhem Land.
The instrumental song.
Yes, it kills it.
Yeah.
And then the
Nice.
rest are fine. I just the really long ones. I just want to get on to the next one. Like I get tired. I think it's the last minute of the long ones where I'm like, wrap it up. Just give me the next one, because the build up is good, and then the drop down is not what I'm really going for. If you can increase it by 20 BPM, I think we're good.
The song was
Oh, yeah, because the
20%
songs are
faster.
shorter. Yeah.
So Yeah, and it has nothing to do with Cowboy Bebop, so that's a minus. I think
This also
I don't
predates
dislike
Cowboy
it
Bebop.
as much as
It
anybody would think I did. I think I would probably give this like a.
Just to make everything
6.
clear, this album predates Cowboy Bebop.
yes, it
I
does.
think that
They
if
stole
Jack
it
were
from
to put
him.
on the bangers and not listen to the whole album, I don't think it's a good album. I think I don't like listening to all of it in a row. I would like to like pick and kill the
You know what
vibe
album you would
and
love,
then like
Bruce?
go
You would
somewhere
love-
else.
You would love the greatest hits album.
Oh, that's it.
I was looking out
It's
there.
It's a greatest hits band. That's what the problem is.
The problem with the greatest hits band thing to me is that only one song off this album is on the greatest hits album,
Which one
and
is that?
it's the alternate version of Space Cowboy.
The one that I like.
Oh.
And I mean, I don't mind I like the alternate version.
The thing
I-
about
I think they're about equal, but like
if
the
you
thing is,
listen- sorry, go ahead. Sorry.
the thing is like there are other songs on this album that were singles that just aren't on the greatest hits album.
If you listen to the greatest hits album first, you would not be ready for like 80% of any Jamiroquai album that came out before 2000. Like they
Yeah.
they put the more vocally like disco funky songs on there, which I think are personally the songs I like more anyway. I think like I think all the good songs on Traveling Without Moving are on there actually.
Yeah.
But anyway, but I think you should give it a try because you might actually like it. They don't have none of the filler. They don't have any of the filler.
That's what I like to hear. Are they long?
Yeah.
No,
Well,
not,
no.
none of the songs on there.
Grammar's rubbing
All-
off.
all
with
of
The
them
the
are-
longest song on the album probably
Jamiroquai.
6 minutes maybe.
Longest on the compilation is 4 minutes and 33 seconds.
Hell yeah! And they had that song. I think they had that song where "Too Young to Die" on there, and that song slaps.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I do enjoy the first album a lot, but I think that one actually has more filler than this one does.
Is that on the first album?
Yeah, it is.
Holy fuck, that song
And that's
slaps.
actually a much longer version on the album too. Like all the ones that are on all the songs from the first album that are on the compilation, they're just so much like longer on the.
That's yeah.
album.
They do the whole extended instrumental jam shit.
Yeah.
Wait, is the second
Yeah,
side
I-
just instrumentals or what is that? What is
Oh,
these?
it's
The second
probably
side's like remixes, yeah.
You don't have to bother. Don't bother with those.
And really, you don't even have to bother with all the songs on the. I'll tell you the songs on the greatest hits you should listen to. You should listen to tracks 4 through like 11, and track number 2, and then tracks 4 through 11.
No, just listen to tracks 1 through 11, and then you're good. Yeah. Honestly, all the
yeah.
all the
Is
ones
it
up
called
to
High
11
Time
are,
Singles? Is that what that is?
yeah, High Time singles 1992 to 2006.
High Times is a good song too. Anyway, Cameron, I know you've been waiting on bated
Let's
breath.
go. It's up to bat.
So I would like to start with an inquiry.
Okay.
Who's the nigga on the cover?
It
That's
is
Buffalo Man.
it's just a mascot character thing, but like the lead singer will wear a hat that's like the guy on the cover. So like I guess you could kind of say it's him.
And why is he standing like that?
Who knows, dude?
It's the stance. Is that the only problem you have with the album?
No. I want to
All right, the episode's done, guys. We'll see you next week.
I gotta get this out of the way. I want all of you and everyone listening, so all 0 of you, to stand up and do that pose and tell me what you feel.
Have you
all
done
right?
that? Did that make you feel weird?
I'm doing that right now. But I want y'all to answer me. How does
I'm
this make you
feeling-
feel?
All right.
I don't know
I'm
about
feeling
you, but I
funky
feel,
as fuck.
yeah, I don't know about you, but I feel strangely powerful and horny.
Like there's two growing out of my head.
Horny Cruz. How do you feel?
I feel like I might need wrist surgery or something. Like that guy's like 90 degrees. Like that hurts.
That's what I'm saying. Like, why is he doing
Why is it so close?
Alright, Jack, man of the hour. What do you
I'm
feel
feeling
when you do
funky
this?
fresh.
You feel funky fresh, alright? I don't know what the fuck I feel, so I just want y'all's opinions. It's a strange pose. So, next, I guess the only thing, that y'all, touched on that I have in my notes is that Just Another Story certainly has no business being almost 9 minutes.
Amen.
There's
Amen.
no
Preach
reason
it. Preach it.
for that song to be that long. like
I like
at
that song
all.
a lot. I like that song
Like-
a lot.
Wait, before you continue, Cameron, I just want to point one thing out really quick. The
What?
very first song on the second side or second disc of this album is a remix of Light Years, and this song is better than the one on the album.
I disagree with that.
Continue.
I've listened to that.
So
Yeah. I don't like the
I
piano.
I was never unlazy enough to actually click on all of the songs on the album and then see how long the album actually is, or go on Wikipedia.
It's like
So I'm doing
55
that
minutes.
right now.
Let's
1 hour
let's,
and 6 minutes.
Oh yeah.
let's
Oh,
put
why?
this out there that
Okay.
song is almost half as long as Cameron's whole album, and he had to listen to it. He had to listen to that one damn song. Let's just
Hey.
put that out there.
He didn't. Okay, there's no like thing that says that like he chose a 22-minute album. He didn't say he didn't like.
I'm just saying that he backed it up with reason. He could almost be halfway. He could be. He's
He
almost
could have
halfway
picked
through
a
a banger.
50-minute album. It'd be
He's
fine.
going
He
through
could have
a
picked an
banger.
hour and 6-minute album to be fine. You guys get so like fucked over with Link. You're like, oh my god, long stuff. How will I ever listen to something if it's long? Oh
That's
no.
literally not what we do.
What it is, Jack, is if something is long and it doesn't grip your attention enough, you look at it to see how much longer is left, and then you realize, wow, we still got 6 minutes of this left, and it's like, man, that really puts a tax on you as the listener, which is
Like
why
that,
I
that
think
that's
that
that is
you should
fine.
make short music if you want to get your name
Jack, I
out there.
take that
then
as
you
a
drop a
personal
3-hour
attack.
album.
I will say
I run a radio show called Cruise's Long Season. I play the longest songs I can find on the radio.
Like
Yeah, just so you know, Jack, just because you have a tiny dick doesn't mean all the songs have been long to make up for it. You know,
God
sometimes you should
damn.
just have some pride. God.
I will say that I don't. Wait, that's a spoiler. We gotta save that one for later. Okay. Well, I have to say everything in my notes in the correct order for maximum comedic effect. All right, this is very important. Okay, so next. Okay, so the first time I listened to the album, I was listening to it on my speakers. You know, my Bose JBLs. You know, so I was listening to it, and I was like, I wasn't sure what I thought. You know, I was leaning on the it's a no for me side. You know, but then I realized, maybe it's just too loud, so I turned it down a little, and it got a little better.
Oh, you're right. No, you're right, dude. I turned it down and it started getting way better.
But
It's like Jack on Discord.
you're right. But it is like Jack on Discord, and then I turned it down a little more, and it got a little better. and then I turned it down a little more, and it got a little better. And next thing I knew, had that shit on mute. And I had this intense feeling of mirth, of just peace of mind, and just
It's a Zen
ultimate
album.
happiness.
It's a reverse Zen album.
It
You don't
is.
play it you don't listen to it to get into Zen. You unlisten to it to get into Zen.
Right. I'm gonna meditate to this album on mute. Anytime I need to meditate, I'm just gonna put this album on mute, and that's gonna be it. Okay, next. I have to give you my number rating. Now,
We're going negative.
It's a 5-point scale. There's a
over.
0.
it's a new season, so you gotta explain your scale again.
No, it's a negative
it
because
is
he
a
has to
Cameron
turn
went
it
from
down.
using Cameron went from using a scale to using a number line.
but my scale is a sextuary scale.
I have a lot of sexuary.
I have a lot of sexuaries. Well, it goes from 0 to 5, integers only. 0, I hate it. 1, I dislike it. 2, I'm indifferent. 3, I kind of like it. 4, I actually like it. 5, I love it. All right. And even though that seems a little top heavy, like there's a whole lot of numbers for liking something. Our averages are still y'all's averages are still below half, which is very good. It means I created an amazing system. Alright, I just want to point that out.
And for 1 week only, there's a new rating to describe this album, is what Cameron's trying to say.
You see, so this album, it is the first album to have 2 ratings. This album is at once a 3 and a 0.
You know what that makes it, right? It's a 30.
No!
We're come full circle.
This
It
album
surpasses the Metal Gear.
is a 30. Okay. If I close my eyes and really try to think that there's a Negro speaking to me, I kind of like it. But then I'm sitting there, cross-legged, you know, hands on my knees, just trying to really get into Zen, you know, working on my breathing techniques, and then all of a sudden, I imagine the dude's face. He just flashes in my head, and then I get electrocuted, like, mentally.
Where you put your hands on your knees.
Yeah.
And then it goes back down to
the
0.
proper gear to defend
Hands
those?
on your knees, hands on your knees.
No, do you have the proper like gear to defend those?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't need that.
I
Doesn't need it.
I don't need the Miki. So, like,
2019's a banger.
I think that there's an alternate timeline where race doesn't exist. I'm able to just look past everything that like exists behind the album, and I'm only going to look at the album and be like, huh, you know, there's something here. And there is something here. But there's also something bad here. And that bad thing is the cultural appropriation of my people.
Amen. Amen.
This man had the audacity to name a song Manifest Destiny.
He's not even American.
He's not even American.
Wait, so
He's an outsider looking in on the strife and the struggle that my people go through every single day on this planet Earth, which is flat.
Wait, can I ask one procedural question?
Well, yeah, go ahead.
So are we saying Jamiroquai is racist? What's our stance?
What is the official WLTM Gamer ASMR Board of Directors thing?
What are we
Are you
titling
saying-
this article?
Cameron, are you saying that if you okay, so the song Manifest Destiny, as far as I understand, the lyrics are about him like kind of being ashamed about the history with
Oh,
white
yeah,
people.
Jack.
Okay, wait, no,
Apologize.
let me finish my question. Are you saying that would it be okay if he was a white American?
Jack.
does he
Okay,
have to be-
I'm going to answer your question as precisely as possible. I'm going to tell you a story.
Okay.
Okay? This entire podcast, I've been eating candy. Alright?
Mm-hmm.
That's important for what I'm about to get to. The gamer fuel. In the middle of Cruz talking about this album, I was sitting there. And I was just, I looked. And I was like, wait, there's a song called Manifest Destiny. And then I just wrote it down in my notes. And so I just said some shit. Like, I don't know what you want from me. Like,
Jack, are you asking him to explain the joke?
Yeah, no. I get the joke. I'm just saying, like, is the problem that he's a British person talking about the concept known as Manifest Destiny, or that he is a white person talking about it?
Jack Obler.
Jack Cobbler.
Cobbler. It's cobbling time. I don't have an answer to your question.
Okay, so you're just fucking around. Do you
I'm
actually like?
hard trolling.
Do you do you have any genuine problem with the album then?
I'm not done. I have more notations to get through. Okay, so I understand like the idea. This is probably my first serious point. I don't know what I've said so far. Yeah, this is probably my first
Welcome to the
serious point. So like the thing is, I understand, like, well, I think I understand, like wait, I'm trolling. I don't understand the philosophy behind the songwritings on these songs, right? But I've heard this style of songwriting before, and so I'm familiar enough with it, right? But no matter how I can think like this is simply a style, I cannot get it past me that have you ever been light years away from where you want to be over and over again, chopped up, said like 2 words at a time? That will never be good songwriting.
I'm not gonna say that his lyrics are incredibly deep. They're not.
Jack doesn't. Shout out to the machine.
I'm
Gun
pretty sure
podcast.
there's
Jack
music like
doesn't
this
believe in
where
lyrics.
like the lyrics are the exact same way, like similar ways, except like the lyrics do like mean something. I guess
you don't
just
know
to
what
know
you're
the
gonna
story
fall
like had something to it, you know?
You don't know who you're arguing with, Cameron. Jack doesn't believe in lyrics.
Oh,
Remember, lyrics are meaningless in Jack's
shit,
world.
you're right. I completely forgot, Alexander. Thank you for reminding me.
For the record, I did say that I was taking a very extreme position for the sake of argument at the time.
You
I
were
do actually
admitting,
care
you were
about
admitting
lyrics.
that you were wrong. You were trying to admit you were wrong without telling me that I was right, Jack.
Yeah.
Welcome
Plus
to
2
my
defense
world.
on Miyazaki. So like, yeah, but like the problem is like it's just saying like have you ever been light years away from where you want to be, nigga? Yes. Okay, like we all have. Like what's their point? You know, I've wanted to be in a black hole before. Like that doesn't really like it doesn't mean anything. You know, like it's just not good. You know, like and just so stuff like that really detracts from it because it's not even all like just him sounding like a black lady. It's also like some of what he's saying just kind of sounds corny coming off of his lips, his thin
I
pale
understand that.
lips. But like yeah, like it just like a lot of it just kind of sounds like corny and just not the greatest. But you know, what are you gonna do? But because the first few times I listened to the album, it was a 1. I was just like, all right, I don't like this. But then like it started getting to me in a bad way. It started making me like angry because I was just like, what the fuck is this garbage Jack has me listening to? And then it was 0. But I can't detract from the fact that like I can understand the music and that like I do enjoy the concept of the funk. And it is entertaining. So in that sense, it's a 3. But it's just, I don't know. The best song is Journey to Armand Land because he doesn't talk.
The funk kills it.
What you mean?
Oh, it's funky. It's good.
So since you don't generally don't like the lyrics or vocal performance, do you actually kind of conversely enjoy the way that the instrumentals like extend themselves with like long instrumental parts at the end that are very jammy and stuff?
Yeah, I like that because that's actually I'm going to reference an album you don't like. But This Is a Long Drive essentially does the same thing. And I really like it there. And this is like the same thing just with different instruments and different like a just completely different genre.
Hmm.
And I like it here too, which is an interesting comparison for me to make in my mind. But yeah, it does make the songs a lot more fun when they just like draw out and just become like, instrumental like jam things for the most part. It's just another story goes on for a little too long. I don't think any other songs are too long. It's just that one.
One of the things that's made that one of the reasons I like Just Another Story a lot is because it's like the intro part of it is actually like musically like completely different, and it has like it actually is this very very different groove that I actually when I actually first listened to the album I was disappointed that wasn't its own song, but it kind of grew on me, and so it's kind of in a weird way it kind of is two songs, and so it just seems really long.
Yeah.
But I do think that even if you'd like separate that first part, it would be one of the longer songs of the album still. So it's, fair point.
Yeah. Yeah, if you separated it, I probably wouldn't notice as much. I think the first couple times I listened to the album, I literally did think like it was two different songs.
Yeah.
Like in my mind, like I was like, that felt like two tracks. So I guess it would be better if it were two tracks, just so it would make more sense in my head. Like you just had an intro and then Just Another Story or something like that.
Yeah.
But I actually I liked his what he was saying and like the way he was saying words more in that song than probably any other song. I liked when he was just it's that song right where he's just yelling for no one to move.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually really liked that. It was interesting because I was just sitting there hunting a fucking pukey, and then he's just yelling at me not to move. It's like I can't do that, dog. I'm sorry. I have to dodge. But I don't know. Overall, I guess I'd have to put it down as like a 1.5 in my thing.
That would be the average of 3 and 0.
That would be the average of 3 and 0.
But that would not be the average of 30, baby!
The album's actually a 15.
It's actually
The average of 30 and 30 is just 30.
So
Because-
I suppose I understand where you're coming from. I never pay much attention to the background of the people I'm listening to and have it bother me much, but like,
Yeah, it's just a matter of because I know, and every time I hear the singing, I just picture his face. There's just such a cognitive dissonance,
Yeah.
like a ludonarrative dissonance, that it irks me. It's not even like some culture appropriation shit. I really don't. I don't
actually
care about
ludonarrative
that.
dissonance.
It's
actually
literally
ludonarrative dissonance.
It's literally ludonarrative dissonance.
This is
like,
why I don't like it.
It actually just like it fucks with you when you hear him, and it's like you should not be able to make those sounds with your mouth. It just feels off, which is unfortunate.
would you think that do you think you have the same experience with like the later material, which is like basically just disco music? Like if this was like not as I don't know if you've heard any of the later stuff, but like
No.
like I'm trying to think of like something I could
I don't think you
Off
would
the
like
top
it.
of my head, I don't even really know what disco sounds like. Like I
don't
can't,
think Cameron would like
think of
it.
a disco rhythm. I feel like I might not, but
I'm saying I don't think
I don't
Cameron
know,
would like it for the double-headed trap of he's either going to try to prove me wrong and end up liking it, which is good, or he's going to accept that I was right, which is also good. So Cameron's going to hate disco no matter what.
goddamn.
well, so now I'm interested. So I actually am going to request of you to listen to like tracks 6 through 11 on the
That's
Greatest
a
Hits
fucking
album,
tall order.
or even not even 6 through 11. Listen to 6, 8, and 11 on the Greatest Hits album, and report back to me. That's your homework for this next week.
6, 8, and 11.
Yes.
Uh-huh.
And then none of them are 8 minutes, so that's a check.
Yeah, they're all short.
Those are all little niggas. What? You good?
Yeah, so a 15. That's a really amazing score. I'm
It's a
very
30.
grateful. Yeah.
Shut the fuck
They're
up.
3-0 and
I
3-0.
have to put
Average
it
is
down
a
as an
30.
integer. The problem is so 3 and 0 would average to 1.5, which round up to a 2. But 2 is indifferent, which
No,
is
you
literally
round down
not,
on this one.
which is literally not how I feel about the
I mean,
album.
you like the thing is like the reason that you think that two like it can't be a 2 is because it's different. Is because you've assigned the specific word indifferent, whereas like you know.
I guess you could throw in
Two, yeah,
ambivalent instead, and it would make more sense.
yeah, you could like you could say 2 could also be something that you're heavily divided on, right? And then this would be where that would fit. I would say.
2's a
It's your system.
I would like to describe some statistics for you, or explain some for you. So, Cruz has 1, 2, 3. He has 3 2s. Alex has 1, 2, and you have 0. So I really only give Cruz 2s.
To clarify one thing, yeah, the 2s is a high score for me. In Kevin's model. That's not to imply that I do way better than 2 when Cameron reviews my music. I'll tell you, it's definitely not. I think I also have the most 0s.
I'm going to calculate Alex's average right now.
All right.
Y'all can say something.
If you like the instrumental jams and like a little more your funky kind of jammy, extended funk and a little bit jazzy music, go for this one. If you think you might not be into that and you'll be more into the straight disco, straight funk, like more reminiscent of like 70s funk, like, you know, that sort of vibe. Greatest hits album, Traveling Without Moving. If you're more on the disco edge, Rock Dust Light Star's a good place.
Yeah.
Alexander's average score is a 1.4. The mode is a 1, 2, 3, 4. His mode is a 1. So a 2 is in fact a high.
My range is a 4.
Yes, your range is a 4.
Goes from youth pictures to Isakov to ripe.
Hell yeah. So 2 is in fact a high score for Alexander.
Yeah, 2 is really brick, and this was a what? A 1? What did I get this week?
This week, yeah, it was a 1.
Right on.
That's better than a 0.
And Jack finessed his way out of another 0.
Yeah, can I state my case? You don't like it because he's white.
We already had
Give him a
the
3.
discussion.
Give him a 3.
Why do you want me to give him a 3?
Yeah. You only dislike the Lemonheads because the Lemonheads guy is white.
Yeah, if they were called.
If the Lemonheads were black, it would be a 0.
Because they would be culturally appropriating.
No, because I'd be disappointed in my fellow Negroes.
Oh.
I have nothing more to say.
This is good. This is good.
This is a good podcast.
This.
Are there any closing thoughts about any album?
Yeah, now that we're done talking about these ASMR projects, are the 3-hour collection of silenced assault rifle shots and enemy footsteps from Call of Duty Black Ops 4 roleplay. Thank you for listening.
Thank you for listening to our
Have an amazing
podcast.
night.
Thank you for